The future of retirement isn't doomed, but retirees may still need some help, says, let's see, Alessandra Melito, who is a reporter with MarketWatch. And look at that little bulletin in there. UK Parliament takes back control over Brexit agenda from Boris Johnson. Isn't that interesting? The swamp in UK is just like the swamp here, man. Boris is going to have to call a emergency election. And I have a sneaky suspicion whoever is offsetting his desire to have a quick and painless Brexit is going to lose, and Boris is going to win here because that's what the people want. It'll be interesting to see how that shakes out in the UK. I'm stoked. This is good. We need. Sometimes you just got to have a cut and drag out fight to say, look, if we want to be like this or we want to be like that, and sometimes you just need to make a decision once and for all. The Brexit vote was 52-48, and then for the last 3 years, we have got nothing but squishes on the right trying to put it through. Theresa May, all the mainstayers of the John Majors of the Tory world who are just, highfalutin, corporatist. They didn't like Brexit, and yet a lot of the Labour Party types, the working class, did. It's it's the same kind of thing we have in the U.S., man. We got the corporatist types who hate Trump, supposed to be on the right, the George Wills of the world, and we got a lot of blue-collar people on the left who don't like Bernie. They don't like where he's going with the socialism, but like the idea of a populist revolt, and they say Trump's our only option. It's good. So this is good. So Boris, call that snap election, man, and get those people to vote, and then we'll know. It'll be a second chance for Brexit. And once Boris wins, see ya, EU. And hopefully that'll be the end of the grand experiment. We shall see. All right. So back to this article. The future of retirement isn't doomed. Well, thankfully. But some retirees may still need some help. Americans, have no fear. The future of retirement may not be as bleak as you fear, but may not be as cheerful as you'd hope. The gender gap in Social Security benefits will narrow. Women's increased lifetime earnings will bolster how much money they get in retirement, and retirement incomes will continue to rise. Actually, the women working hurts their retirement. It just does from Social Security perspective, for sure. Even the CRR, the Center for Retirement Research at Boston College, who I take some issue with in some of the research, show us that. They show women in the workforce actually hurts overall benefits because a woman not in the workforce who can get spousal benefits will get more benefits than a woman in the workforce who gets who doesn't make that much money to begin with. So there you go. So the Urban Institute, Washington-based think tank for economic and social policy research. What struck me most was the realization is that the sky is not falling for retirement security. What? This is Richard Johnson, economist at the Urban Institute. And the Urban Institutes, they're pretty fair. They're on the left, but they're pretty good. They're not like the EPI, the Employment Policy Institute. The Urban Institute's pretty good. Just if it's from the EPI, they're socialists. Just remember, if you ever see something from the EPI, not to be mixed with EBRI, you just got to discount it at all times. But at the same time, there are plenty of challenges, particularly in pre-retirement income replacement, the potential cuts in Social Security benefits, and racial and ethnic disparities in retirement income. But pre-retirement income replacement, why would you want to replace pre-retirement income? That doesn't make sense. Those challenges are increasingly pressing for younger people in those decades away from retirement. The Urban Institute measured numerous factors in retirement income, including Social Security, earnings, pension, government benefits, and retirement account withdrawals. I just want to revisit what he says. What struck me most was the realization that the sky is not falling for retirement security. Imagine it's only a matter of time for he's on suicide watch by the mainstream media and the retirement planning sector and the financial advisory industry who says, oh, you can't say that. Let's see, a typical zennial, no idea what that means, will receive 24% more net income than a typical retiree born 40 years earlier. Oh, is it Generation X? Okay. So 40 years earlier, right here. So adjusted for inflation, yeah, so a typical zennial receives $39,800 net income at age 70 than someone who was born in 1936. Okay. Future retirees will save more than their predecessors Researchers broke down the generations into 10-year birth cohorts and found the younger the generation, the more they have come to retirement. The youngest cohort, dubbed the Zennials, born between 76 and 85, are projected to have a median retirement income that's 24% more than pre-boomers. I'm an Xer. The caveat, Social Security must remain completely intact. Right now, the trust funds supporting the program are facing depletion by 2035. If that occurs, retirees will only see about 80% of their benefits. Should Social Security see this shortfall, 38% of Generation Xers, me, and 40% of Zennials won't be able to replace at least 75% of their pre-retirement income. Still, even if Social Security benefits remain the same, 30 and 32% of Generation X and Zennials will fall short of a 75% replacement ratio compared with 26% of late, early, and pre-boomers. All right, well, that's not that bad. And secondly, who cares? The 75% replacement ratio is all, I don't need that. You don't need that. Bet you might. But so a quarter to a third of people, less than a third. We got a quarter of the people who are baby boomers, pre-boomers, and late and early boomers, and less than a third are Generation X and Zennials will fall short of a 75% replacement ratio. That's not that big of a deal. Women are earning more, and that benefits them in retirement. Over her lifetime, a typical Zennial woman will earn more than twice as much as her pre-boomer counterpart. Well, that makes sense. As more women work and earn more, they'll strengthen their retirement security. Median lifetime earnings will be 88% higher for Gen X women and 129% higher for Zennial women, adjusted for inflation, than pre-boomer women. Zennial women have a projected median lifetime earning of 1.3 mil, compared with their maid counterparts who have 1.85 mil. Oh my goodness, that's the what do they call it? The fraudulent thing they call the gender gap. The whole thing, that gender gap, man. If the thing is silly on its face, the idea that actually smart people even use that is nuts. There is no gender gap. If anything, is against men. That right here, the gender gap in earnings has yet to close. But the gap in Social Security benefits is lessening. The gap is expected to fall from 37% to boomers for 15% for Zennials. And Zennials women may see a median of $22,000 annual Social Security income at 70 versus the men's $26,000, compared with pre-boomer women who had $13,000 and pre-boomer men who had $20,000. There's still many disparities among race. I'm just going to pass on that and just see what else. Okay. All right. Again, some of these articles just don't do much for me. But I like the idea. The guy from the Urban Institute says the sky is not falling. What struck me most. Well, why does that strike you most? You're supposed to be an economist who's research this stuff, man. Come on. All right. I don't got much to add to that. I just, you can look at the racial stuff if you want to. It kind of bores me, to be perfectly honest with you. It probably should not bore me. I get tired of everything being put into these little categories of you over here and you over there. The gender gap is silly. We know that for a fact. It's not debatable, my friends. But at the end of the day, at least we have an economist from the Urban Institute, a left-leaning economic think tank, who says the sky is not falling. That's all I wanted to see. So kudos. Good job. All right. Thanks, guys.